Welcome to the Chosen Bloom. This is more than a channel, it's a sanctuary for the awakened. If you're here, you're not lost. You're being called. Maybe you've always felt different. Like you never really fit in. And maybe you thought something was wrong with you. But the truth is it was never a problem. It was a sign. Deep down, you've always felt like your life had a bigger meaning. Like you were born for something more. That quiet feeling inside. That was never just a thought. It was real. It was God showing you who you are. And now it's time to see that clearly. You are a chosen one. Not because you're better than anyone, but because you've been trusted with a higher purpose. There is something special on your life. You were made to walk a different path. A path that not everyone will understand. Being chosen doesn't always feel easy. In fact, it's often hard. You go through things others don't. You carry weight others can't see. But through it all, you still shine. Because your light was meant to lead. This world doesn't always welcome the chosen ones. Sometimes it tries to hide the truth. But your light is stronger than the darkness around you. And if you've ever felt like your life doesn't make sense, it's not because you're lost. It's because you're being prepared. There are signs that show when someone is truly chosen by God. And today, I'm going to share those signs with you. But first, pause and check in with your spirit. Do you feel something stirring inside you right now? Do you feel like this message is speaking directly to you? If yes, then I want you to comment 777 below. That's not just a number, it's a sign that you hear the call. That you're ready to say yes to your purpose. Why 777? Because the number 7 in the Bible means spiritual completion and divine order. When you type 777, you're agreeing with heaven. You're saying, I'm ready. I know who I am. I accept the calling on my life. Now hear this, many are called, but only a few choose to answer. Out of billions of people, only some are set apart. Chosen ones are rare. Not perfect but picked. Not famous but favored. If you've made it to this video, you are not just curious, you are called. Maybe you've always felt like you didn't belong. Like you were pulled in a different direction. That's not rejection. That's redirection. You were being guided through every hard moment, every silent season, every time you felt left out. It wasn't by chance. It was part of your training. You've probably noticed how people react to you. Some are drawn to you. Others are unsure of you. But they all feel something because what you carry can't be hidden. Your energy shifts the room. You were never meant to blend in. You were born to stand apart. So if you've been wondering why your life feels different, this is why. You were never made to live a normal life. You were made for something greater. And now your time has come. You've been tested. You've been shaped. And now you're being called to rise. So lean in. Stay with me. Because these next few signs, they're not just random. They are the evidence, the proof that you are one of God's chosen. Are you ready? Then let's begin. Every true chosen one will undergo a deep, life-altering spiritual awakening. This isn't a fleeting thought or a burst of temporary inspiration, it's a soul quake. A divine interruption that dismantles the life you once knew and replaces it with something unshakably real. It doesn't ask for your permission. It comes like a storm and it changes everything. At first, it feels like your world is unraveling. Familiar things begin to lose their meaning. Relationships fade. Desires shift. Beliefs you once clung to begin to collapse under the weight of truth. But don't be afraid. This is not destruction, it's divine deconstruction. God is not breaking you down to harm you. He is peeling away every layer of illusion that has kept you from seeing who you really are. This is your spiritual initiation. Not optional. Not accidental. It is the sacred beginning of your true identity. The unraveling is the unveiling. And though it may feel like you're losing everything, what you're actually losing is everything that was never yours to begin with. Many chosen ones experience a season of deep isolation during this awakening. You may feel invisible, misunderstood, even abandoned. But this isolation isn't exile, it's consecration. God is pulling you away from the noise, the crowds, the chaos, so that His voice becomes the loudest one you hear. He's not punishing you. He's preparing you. This awakening is often sparked by something that shakes your foundation: a betrayal, a loss, a moment that breaks your heart open. But what seems like the end is really the invitation. An invitation to step out of survival and into surrender. To let go of who the world told you to be and uncover who God has called you to become. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it confuses. But the pain has a purpose. Because through the fire of awakening, the false self burns away and the true you begins to rise. Once you awaken, there is no going back. Your eyes open to truth you can't unsee. You begin to recognize the lies you once lived under. And from that moment on, you don't just exist, you begin to live. After awakening, something shifts permanently within you. You begin to recognize the spiritual war that surrounds us, not with your eyes, but with your spirit. You start seeing beyond the surface. Beyond smiles. Beyond systems. You begin to discern what most people miss. While others stay distracted by the visible, you start to perceive the invisible. You may try to explain this, to describe what you're seeing, sensing, and feeling, but often, your words fall flat. People stare confused. Some laugh it off. Others walk away. Not because you're wrong, but because you're awake in a world that prefers sleep. You're tuned into frequencies they don't yet understand. You're seeing truth while they're still trapped in illusion. And not everyone is meant to wake up. Only the chosen ones are given eyes that pierce through deception and hearts that recognize divine signals in a chaotic world. Your spiritual awareness will heighten. You'll begin to receive what can only be described as divine downloads, flashes of insight, prophetic dreams, and soul-deep knowing. This is not imagination. This is spiritual intelligence gifted from above. You'll feel people's energy before they speak. You'll sense darkness cloaked in charm and recognize light buried beneath the broken. Your discernment will sharpen, not to judge, but to protect, to navigate, to guide. This is the gift of spiritual sight. And while it's one of the most powerful signs that you are chosen, it is also one of the heaviest. Because once you see truth, you can't unsee it. Once you know better, you are called to live better. You can no longer pretend to fit into the world that God called you out of. The things you once tolerated now feel unbearable. Toxic conversations drain you. Superficial relationships suffocate you. Environments that once entertained you now feel spiritually hostile. And yes, this separation can feel like solitude. It may feel like you're being stripped of everything familiar. But what looks like separation is actually elevation. God is pulling you out so He can raise you up. He's cutting ties, not to hurt you but to heal you. To purify your circle. To protect your calling. To preserve your energy for what truly matters. So when people leave, Let them. When doors close, don't force them open. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. God is not isolating you to punish you, He is preparing you. The solitude you've been experiencing isn't abandonment. It's alignment. In the quiet, He is resetting your mind, cleansing your spirit, and strengthening your soul. Why? Because your mission requires clarity. Your calling requires purity. And your destiny requires spiritual strength that can't be forged in comfort. But with awakening comes resistance. The moment you begin to see the truth, the enemy will try to cloud your vision. Spiritual warfare will intensify. You may notice sudden opposition, unusual tension, or waves of heaviness that seem to come from nowhere. This isn't coincidence, it's confirmation. Darkness doesn't attack what isn't a threat. The resistance you feel, it's proof that your light is beginning to disrupt the atmosphere. This is why you must stay grounded. Stay rooted in God. Awakening is not the end, it's the beginning of spiritual battle. But it's a battle you've been equipped to win. Now, more than ever, your connection to God must be intentional. Prayer becomes your weapon. Fasting becomes your sharpening. Meditation becomes your centering. You are not just waking up, you are rising up. And in rising, you'll begin to realize this awakening isn't just about clarity. It's about identity. You're not who the world told you to be. You are who God called you to become. And that version of you, the real you, has always carried power. The awakening didn't create it, it simply uncovered it. Don't be discouraged when people don't understand. This journey isn't for the crowd. It's for the called. You were never meant to fit in, you were born to lead, to illuminate, to shift. Your spiritual awakening is not just a signal of change. It is your arrival. It is the signpost that confirms you are one of God's favorites. And now, your real journey begins. So I ask you, are you ready to walk in truth? Are you ready to lead with purpose? Then let's move forward. Because now, we must talk about something you've felt all your life: rejection. You are of God, and that alone sets you apart. Even before you understood your calling, others could sense it. They may not have had the words for it, but they felt it. There was something about you that didn't blend, didn't bend, didn't break like others did. From childhood, you may have felt like an outsider looking in. Like no matter how much you tried to fit in, something sacred within you refused to conform. Maybe you were left out, overlooked, or treated unfairly for no obvious reason. Maybe you were the one who asked deeper questions, who felt things others brushed off, who couldn't pretend like everything was fine when your spirit said otherwise. That wasn't a flaw. That was your soul refusing to shrink. Chosen ones carry a different spirit, and that difference doesn't go unnoticed. You weren't created to mirror the crowd. You were born to carry light, and light exposes everything around it. That's why people react to you before you even speak. Some are drawn to your presence, sensing peace, truth, or strength they don't fully understand. But others? They feel exposed, uncomfortable, intimidated. Not because of what you've done, but because your presence stirs something in them they haven't dealt with. And the hardest part? Rejection often comes from the people closest to you. Not strangers, but friends, family, co-workers. People you thought would support you end up misunderstanding you. They may say you've changed, that you're too intense, too serious, too spiritual. But what they're really saying is, you're no longer who they can control. This kind of rejection cuts deep, but it's not a curse. It's confirmation. The world doesn't reject what it fully understands. The crowd doesn't silence voices that aren't shaking something. Look at every prophet, every messenger, every soul who walked in divine purpose throughout history. Rejection followed them like a shadow. Why? Because truth always disturbs what's comfortable. So when people walk away, don't chase them. When they misunderstand, don't shrink back. Their rejection is not your reflection. It's your reveal. You are chosen. And the world always resists what it cannot explain. A chosen one doesn't speak to gain applause. A chosen one speaks to unveil truth. And the truth, it disrupts. It awakens. It shakes people out of comfort, and that's why it often invites rejection. But let me say this clearly, the rejection you've endured is not a curse. It is divine protection. God has not allowed people to walk away from you to hurt you. He's removed them because they were never meant to walk with you where you're going. If they couldn't recognize your worth, they were never meant to sit at your table. If they couldn't support your evolution, they were never assigned to your elevation. Every goodbye was a gift. Every closed door was a redirection. Yes, it hurt. Yes, you questioned it. But one day, you'll look back and thank God for every person who left, because in leaving, they made space for the right ones to enter. Their absence didn't delay your destiny. It cleared the path for it. And still, one of the hardest realities for the chosen is this: you will often walk alone. There will be seasons where no one seems to understand you. You'll long for connection, but find very few who can meet you at the level of your spirit. That's because your path is sacred, and sacred paths are never crowded. While the world chases noise, you're called to stillness. While others chase status, you're drawn to purpose. And that separation, it's not punishment, it's preparation. Understand this: rejection is not personal. It is spiritual. When people mistreat you, it's not just them, it's the spirit behind them reacting to the presence within you. The anointing on your life causes friction in those who've chosen darkness. Light doesn't just illuminate, it confronts. That's why some will dislike you without cause, compete with you without reason, and try to break you without warning. But don't let it change your heart. Don't let the pain harden what was meant to remain pure. Your power is not in fighting back. It's in rising above. Let rejection refine you, not define you. Let it make you wiser, not bitter. And most of all, stay soft where the world wants you to turn cold. Because being misunderstood is part of being chosen. And being chosen means walking in what others fear, carrying what others can't, and becoming what others were never willing to be. But here's the secret the world doesn't tell you: the right people will find you. Those who are meant to walk this path with you will recognize your energy not by your appearance or achievements, but by your presence. They won't try to dim your light, they'll honor it. They won't compete with your calling, they'll support it. They'll sense your spirit and say, "I see you." So if you've been rejected, misunderstood, cast aside, don't lose heart. That rejection wasn't a wound. It was a signpost. A marker of your favor. The world doesn't celebrate the chosen, it tests them. It pressures them. It tries to bend them into shapes they were never meant to take. But those who keep walking despite the silence, despite the betrayal, those are the ones who rise. You were never called to fit in. You were created to stand out. Not for attention, but for assignment. You were meant to lead, to break patterns, to walk boldly where others settle. And the very people who dismissed you today will one day remember they were in the presence of a chosen one and didn't recognize it. There's something deep inside you that has never been able to rest. A quiet but constant pull. A knowing. An unshakable feeling that your life is meant for more. While others drift through life without question, you've always felt something greater stirring beneath the surface. Even when you didn't have the words your soul knew. You've carried this sense of purpose for as long as you can remember. It hasn't always been clear. At times, it's even felt frustrating, like being ready for a mission you can't fully define. But no matter how far you run, no matter how much you try to silence it, that calling doesn't leave you. That's not coincidence. That's divine design. Chosen ones don't need external confirmation. Their spirit already knows. It's written into their very being. You weren't wired for an ordinary life because your assignment is extraordinary. You were born with a divine imprint, and your soul has been whispering it to you from the beginning. This is one of the clearest signs that you are chosen. The world may not see it yet, but you've always known deep down you're here for something bigger. You were never placed here just to exist. Not to follow trends. Not to survive on autopilot. Not to live out someone else's script. No, your life was carved by God with purpose, with precision. Your soul carries a divine mission, and that mission runs so deep within you that no amount of distraction, denial, or detour can silence it. Even when you tried to follow the safe route, the one that made sense to everyone else, something within you refused to settle. You've tried to blend in, tried to bury your fire, but the ache for more always came back. That's because your spirit knows you were made for something higher. Many chosen ones live with a quiet restlessness. While others chase comfort, you crave growth. You're not satisfied with routine. You hunger for meaning, for depth, for divine truth. You're drawn to what stretches your soul, conversations that awaken you, wisdom that challenges you, experiences that shape you into the highest version of who you're called to be. But this sense of purpose, it's not always peaceful. Sometimes it feels like a burden, like being marked for something great, but not yet knowing what. You can sense that you're being prepared. But for what? That question can haunt you. The vision is there, but the path seems hidden. Here's what you need to know: God doesn't reveal the whole map. He gives you light for the next step. He stretches your faith, not your comfort. He lets you feel the weight of your purpose before showing you how to carry it, because trust is built in the in-between. Everything you've faced, the heartbreaks, the delays, the inner battles, the moments that didn't make sense, they were not wasted. Not one tear. Not one test. Every piece of your story is preparing you for the moment when heaven says, now. Because when that moment comes, you will not just be ready, you will be unstoppable. One of the most powerful truths about a chosen one is this: your purpose is not just for you. You weren't called just to live a blessed life. You were called to be a blessing. Your pain has a purpose. Your healing will become someone else's roadmap. Your testimony will unlock doors for people still trapped in what you've overcome. That's why your process has felt so intense, because what you carry is not ordinary. It's generational. It's prophetic. It's meant to ripple beyond your life and touch lives you haven't even met yet. Your purpose was never meant to revolve around personal success, status, or material gain. For the chosen ones, destiny is not defined by what you collect, but by what you contribute. It's not about building a name, it's about building a legacy of light. You were placed on this earth to impact, to influence, and to serve. Your voice, your presence, your very energy is meant to shift atmospheres. You carry the ability to bring clarity where there's confusion, healing where there's hurt, and hope where there's silence. But here's the reality: not everyone will understand that calling. Some will tell you you're aiming too high. that you're dreaming too big, that you need to be more realistic. They'll try to pull you into their comfort zone, not because they see clearly but because they can't see at all. They don't feel what you feel. They don't carry what you carry. They weren't given your assignment. That's why so many chosen ones walk alone, especially in the beginning. God allows seasons of separation not to punish you, but to prepare you. He clears the noise. He removes distractions. He strips away every person and pattern that isn't aligned with your mission so that you can finally hear Him clearly. The silence isn't abandonment, it's activation. Yes, there will be moments when your faith is stretched, when the next step is hidden, when the weight of purpose feels too heavy to carry. But even in that uncertainty, you'll feel the truth pulsing in your spirit. You can't turn back. Once you've awakened to who you are, you can never return to who you were. The call will keep whispering, keep tugging, keep pulling until you answer. And when you finally do, when you fully step into alignment, everything begins to shift. Doors open without knocking. Favor flows without force. Things start to align not because of chance, but because your spirit is in sync with heaven. You are no longer chasing purpose, you are walking in it. So if you've always felt like you were meant for more, it's because you are. That persistent inner knowing is not a fantasy. It's divine evidence. You've been chosen to do what few dare to do, to rise beyond self, to serve something greater, and to become the very light this world desperately needs. You don't just see with your eyes. You see with your spirit. And that vision, that clarity, is proof that you are not just different. You are destined. You don't just hear with your ears, you hear with your soul. You don't just process words, you feel the weight behind them. You don't just understand ideas, you sense truth in its purest form. This is spiritual discernment. And it is one of the clearest, most sacred signs that you are a chosen one. Discernment is not a talent, it's a divine gift. It's a spiritual sensitivity that allows you to see beyond the physical realm. While others live on the surface, you perceive what lies beneath. You recognize energy before words are spoken. You sense motives hidden behind smiles. You feel shifts in the atmosphere that no one else notices, and you can't explain how, you just know. This awareness goes far beyond natural intuition. It is a spiritual radar from God, an inner compass that warns, reveals, and protects. You might walk into a space and immediately feel what others overlook. You may meet someone and sense light or darkness in them before they even speak. And while the world may call you overly sensitive or paranoid, deep down you know it's discernment. Because of this gift, you often question what others accept without hesitation. You don't follow the crowd, not out of pride, but because your spirit won't allow you to. You can't pretend something is right when your soul is screaming otherwise. You don't fall for polished lies because your spirit is tuned to truth. You don't invest your energy in empty distractions because your focus is fixed on higher things. This level of awareness can feel heavy at times. It can isolate you. But it also empowers you. Discernment protects your peace. It preserves your purpose. It keeps you aligned when everything around you feels unclear. And most importantly, it keeps you close to God. To carry this gift is not easy, but it is holy. It means you were trusted with insight that goes beyond intellect. It means your spirit is in sync with something greater. You weren't just chosen to see the world, you were chosen to see through it. This is why you may have noticed that some people feel uneasy in your presence. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because your discernment makes them uncomfortable. When you carry divine light, it exposes what others would rather keep hidden. Deception, jealousy, Ill intentions, they may be dressed in smiles, but your spirit sees what words cannot disguise. They may say the right things, pretend to support you, stand beside you, but inside, you know. You feel the friction between their mask and their motives. And maybe there were times when you doubted this gift. When you questioned your gut, gave people the benefit of the doubt, only to realize later that your spirit had been right all along. That's because the world teaches people to trust only what they can see, touch, and measure. But you were never meant to walk by sight. You were called to walk by faith. Your discernment is not a product of fear or suspicion. It's a divine gift rooted in your connection with God, refined through wisdom, and sharpened by obedience. And like all sacred gifts, discernment comes with responsibility. Just because you can see doesn't mean you must always speak. Just because you sense deception doesn't mean you must always confront it. Sometimes, God reveals things not for you to act but for you to be aware. Not every battle requires your sword. Some victories come through silence, strategy, and surrender. There is wisdom in restraint. Discernment is not for pride, it's for protection. You were given sight so you could walk safely, not arrogantly. You were given insight so you could stay prepared, not paranoid. And above all, you must protect your energy. You cannot pour into everyone. You cannot entertain every spirit. You must learn to guard your peace like the treasure it is, because what you carry is rare, and it must be preserved. When you carry heightened discernment, your spirit becomes a magnet for both light and darkness. Those with pure hearts will be drawn to you because they recognize something real, something holy. But don't be surprised when people with hidden motives come close too. Some will seek your wisdom. Others will try to manipulate it. Not everyone who enters your life comes with good intentions, some come with agendas. This is why you must be vigilant about who you allow into your space. Your energy is sacred. Your peace is precious. And not everyone deserves access to it. Discernment isn't just about detecting deception. It's about guarding what is divine within you. But this gift isn't only about protecting you from harm. It also opens your spirit to divine direction. Because of your spiritual sensitivity, you will often feel when God is moving, when a door is opening, when a connection is ordained, when a season is shifting. You'll receive intuitive nudges, prophetic dreams, and inner confirmations that others can't see or explain. This is one of the greatest advantages of being chosen. You are never truly lost. Even in confusion, your spirit is being guided. Still, you must understand most people won't get it. They'll say you're overthinking, that you're too sensitive, too suspicious. They'll try to rationalize away what you know in your bones. But trust yourself. Trust the gift. Because time will always reveal that what your spirit sensed was the truth. We live in a world full of false teachings, false light, and false leaders. Your discernment was given not to make you suspicious of everyone, but to keep you spiritually anchored to truth, to God, to the mission on your life. False prophets. False friendships. The enemy rarely comes with horns, he comes disguised in opportunity, charm, and even religion. But here's the truth, a chosen one cannot be easily fooled. You weren't just given spiritual discernment to survive, you were given it to see. To walk in truth. To avoid traps. To protect your divine purpose before it can be derailed. So don't doubt your gift, develop it. Don't suppress it, steward it. Trust what you feel, even when it goes against what's convenient or popular. Because the ability to see beyond the surface is one of the greatest blessings a chosen one can carry. It is your compass, your armor, your confirmation that God walks closely with you. One of the biggest confirmations that you are chosen is the contrast in your life. You've walked through both miracles and warfare, favor and frustration, breakthrough and backlash. It feels like every time you rise, something tries to pull you back down. You take a step forward and resistance meets you there. You've received divine opportunities, doors that only God could open, but they didn't come without cost. The blessings were real, but so were the battles. Why? Because where there is divine favor, there will always be spiritual friction. Your anointing doesn't go unnoticed in the spirit realm. And the more you step into your calling, the more the enemy will try to block your path. That's not because you're weak. It's because you're dangerous to darkness. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how right after a victory, opposition shows up? You get the promotion, then suddenly chaos erupts in your workplace. You launch the business, then unexpected challenges hit. You begin healing, and old wounds try to reopen. These aren't coincidences, they're confirmations. You are a threat. And threats are always targeted. But here's the encouragement: you were never meant to fight alone. What opposes you is real, but what covers you is greater. God has not only called you, He's equipped you. No weapon formed against you will prosper. Not because the weapon won't form, but because it won't win. Maybe you stepped into a deeper spiritual connection with God, and then you started facing unusual challenges. This is not a coincidence. It is spiritual warfare. The enemy does not attack those who are lost. He attacks those who are making progress. But here is the other side of it. You are also highly favored. No matter how many attacks come against you, you always find a way to rise. Even when people try to bring you down, God lifts you up. Even when situations seem impossible, doors open for you at the right moment. You are constantly protected, constantly guided, constantly blessed. Your life is proof of divine favor. Think about it. How many times have you faced situations that should have broken you, but somehow you made it through? How many times have you been surrounded by negativity, yet you remained strong? How many times have you been put in positions where others failed, yet you succeeded? That is God's hand over your life, but with this favor comes responsibility. You must understand that your blessings are not just for you. They are meant to serve a greater purpose. God has given you favor because you are meant to be a light. In this world, you are meant to inspire, to uplift, to guide, and to lead. This is why you cannot afford to be careless with your energy. The enemy is always looking for a way to throw you off track. Spiritual warfare does not always come in obvious forms. Sometimes it comes through distractions, temptations, toxic relationships, or negative thoughts. The goal of the enemy is not just to hurt you, but to make you doubt yourself, to make you feel exhausted, to make you lose focus. Have you noticed that every time you are about to step into a new level, you face unexpected resistance? That is because you are close to a breakthrough. The enemy tries to make you give up right before your blessing arrives. This is why endurance is key. A chosen one must learn to keep going even when things get tough, to trust in God's plan, even when the path is unclear, to remain unshaken, even in the face of opposition. At times, you may wonder why your life has so many ups and downs. You may question why God allows you to go through so much when you're trying to do the right thing. But here is the truth. You are being strengthened. God does not give weak assignments to strong warriors. He allows the chosen ones to go through battles because He knows that they will come out victorious. Look at the great figures in history, leaders, prophets, spiritual teachers. None of them had easy lives. They all faced opposition, betrayal, persecution, and hardships, but they also carried immense power, wisdom, and divine favor. Their struggles were not signs of weakness. They were signs of their calling, and it is the same for you. You must understand that the attacks are not happening because you are weak. They are happening because you are powerful. If you are not a threat to darkness, the enemy would leave you alone. But because you carry God's light, because you are meant to create change, because you have a divine assignment, you will always face resistance. But here is what the enemy does not realize. Every attack against you only makes you stronger. Every obstacle only pushes you closer to your purpose. Every battle only deepens your faith. What was meant to break you actually builds you. What was meant to stop you actually prepares you. So if you feel like your life is full of both favor and warfare, do not be discouraged. Instead, recognize it as confirmation that you are truly chosen. You are not just living a normal life. You are walking a divine path. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. No attack can stop what God has already ordained for you. You are chosen for a reason, and no force of darkness can change that. So stand firm, keep walking, and remember, for every battle there is a breakthrough waiting. On the other side, there is something inside of you that always longs for God. No matter where life has taken you, no matter what you have been through, that connection has never truly faded even in your lowest moments. Even when you felt lost, even when you questioned everything, you still felt God's presence. That is because you are chosen. A chosen one does not need to be convinced that God is real. You have experienced His presence in ways that cannot be explained. You have seen signs, synchronicities, divine messages that confirm that you are walking with Him. This is not just faith. It is knowing deep in your soul, you feel God's hand over your life guiding you, protecting you, speaking to you. You may have noticed that your relationship with God has always been different. While others pray out of habit, you pray with deep intention while others seek God only in times of trouble. You seek Him daily in every moment, in every decision. While others may doubt, you are constantly seeking wisdom, truth, and divine understanding. This connection is what makes you stand out. It is the reason why you cannot ignore spiritual matters, why you feel deeply connected to things beyond this physical world, while others chase after material success. Your soul craves something higher, something eternal, something divine. Even in your darkest times when you felt alone, when the world seemed against you, you could feel God whispering to your spirit, reminding you that He has never left. There were moments when you thought you would break, but somehow you found the strength to keep going. That was not your strength, it was God's strength within you. Have you ever noticed how your spirit picks up on things before they happen? How you feel when something is right or wrong, even before you have all the facts. How you receive messages through dreams, sudden realizations, or deep inner knowing. That is because your connection to God is stronger than you realize. You have been given spiritual insight that most people do not have. You are able to see through deception, recognize hidden truths, and sense divine timing. This is not a coincidence. This is a gift. God has placed His wisdom within you because you are meant to lead, teach, and uplift others. But here's the thing, the closer you are to God, the more the world will try to pull you away. Distractions, temptations, negative influences, all of these things will try to weaken your connection. That is why the chosen ones must be vigilant, disciplined, and spiritually grounded. You may have gone through seasons where you felt disconnected from God. Maybe you experienced doubt, maybe you felt abandoned. Maybe you wondered if He was really there. But even in those moments, God was still working in your life sometimes. He allows us to walk through darkness, not to punish us, but to strengthen our faith. Your connection to God is not based on religion. It is based on a direct relationship. While some people follow rituals without understanding, you have a personal bond with the divine. You talk to God like a friend, like a guide, like a father who truly knows you. And because of this, your spiritual path will always be different. There is a reason why you cannot tolerate certain environments, certain conversations, or certain energies. There is a reason why your soul rejects anything that is not aligned with truth. There is a reason why you feel drained when you are around people who do not carry light. It is because you are connected to a higher frequency. Your spirit is not meant to dwell in low places. This is why you must protect your connection. The world is full of noise. Social media, distractions, worldly desires, all designed to weaken your spiritual focus. But as a chosen one, you must prioritize your relationship with God above all else, because when you are aligned with Him, everything in your life begins to flow. You do not have to force things. You do not have to chase after what is meant for you. When you are in divine alignment, opportunities come, doors open, and miracles happen effortlessly. Your connection to God is your greatest gift. It is the source of your power, your wisdom, your strength. So if you feel this deep connection, if you have always known that your life is guided by something greater, if you constantly seek truth, purpose, and divine wisdom, this is your confirmation. You are chosen, you are favored. You are walking with God, and as long as you stay connected, nothing can stop you. There is something about you that people cannot ignore. Even when you try to blend in, you stand out. Even when you stay silent, your presence speaks volumes. You carry an energy that is different, powerful, and deeply spiritual. This is one of the biggest signs that you are a chosen one. You do not just exist, you influence. Some people are naturally drawn to you. They feel inspired, uplifted, and motivated in your presence. They seek your wisdom, your advice, your perspective on life. Even strangers may feel comfortable opening up to you, sharing their deepest struggles as if they've known you forever. This is not a coincidence. Your spirit carries a divine presence, a light that attracts those who seek truth and healing. But just as some people are drawn to you, others are deeply disturbed by you. Your presence makes them uncomfortable. Even if you've done nothing to provoke them, you may have noticed that some people become defensive around you, try to challenge you for no reason, or simply dislike you without explanation. This is because your energy exposes what they try to hide. The chosen ones do not just move through the world unnoticed. They create shifts wherever they go. When you enter a room, the atmosphere changes. When you speak, people listen. Even those who pretend not to. When you walk into a situation, things begin to realign, as if the spiritual realm itself recognizes your presence. You are not just another person. You are a force. This unique energy is not something you can control. It is something that comes with being chosen. It is the result of your spiritual connection, your divine calling, and the anointing that rests upon your life. You carry the presence of God, and people can feel it. Some people will admire you for it. They will see the light within you and feel hope, inspiration, and clarity. They will gravitate toward you because they sense that you carry something divine. They will be uplifted simply by being around you. This is one of your greatest gifts, but others, they will reject you because of it. They will feel threatened, exposed, and uneasy. They may try to tear you down, criticize you, or find faults in you that do not exist. This is because your presence disrupts the illusions. They live in darkness, cannot stand in the presence of light without being exposed. You may have wondered why some people instantly dislike you without knowing you. Why certain individuals feel the need to compete with you, undermine you, or discredit you even when you have done nothing but exist. This is spiritual warfare. It is not about you. It is about what you carry. There is power in your energy. There is divine authority in your presence. You do not need to announce who you are. Your spirit does that for you. This is why you must be mindful of your surroundings. Not everyone who is drawn to you has good intentions. Some people come close to steal your energy, to drain your light, or to disrupt your peace. As a chosen one, you must learn to protect your spirit. Not everyone deserves access to you. Your energy is sacred. It is powerful. It is not meant to be wasted on meaningless things or toxic environments. The more you grow spiritually, the more sensitive you will become to who and what deserves your presence. At times you may feel misunderstood. Because of this, you may feel like you are too much for some people, or that your energy is too intense for certain spaces. Do not dim yourself to make others comfortable. Do not shrink yourself to fit into places that were never meant for you. You were designed to stand out, to lead, to inspire, to awaken. Your energy is meant to shake people, to make them think, to push them out of their comfort zones. Some will love you for it, some will hate you for it, but none will be able to ignore you. That is the power of a chosen one. That is the power of your divine presence, and that is why you must embrace it fully, because when you do, you step into the fullness of your calling. Now that you've heard these 7 signs, you may be realizing something deep within yourself. You are not ordinary, you never have been everything you have experienced. The rejection, the awakening, the spiritual battles, the unshakable connection to God, and the powerful energy you carry has been proof of your divine calling. You are a chosen one. You are never meant to fit in with the world because you were called to rise above it. Your path has been different because your purpose is greater. The struggles you have endured have not been in vain. They have shaped you, strengthened you, and prepared you for what is coming. God has been guiding you all along. Even in moments when you felt lost, He was leading you. Even in times when you questioned your purpose, He was confirming it. Now the truth is clear. You were chosen for a reason. You were set apart to be a light in a world full of darkness, to bring truth where there is deception and to lead where others are lost. But here's the thing, knowing you are chosen is not enough. You must now walk in that calling. You must embrace your identity fully and stop doubting the power that God has placed within you. You must step boldly into your purpose without fear, without hesitation. Yes, the journey will still come with challenges. The enemy will still try to test you. People will still misunderstand you. But now, you know the truth, and the truth is your power. The truth is what will set you free. If this message has resonated with you, if you feel deep in your soul that you are one of the chosen ones, comment 7777 below right now. This is not just a number. It is a confirmation. A declaration that you recognize your calling, that you are ready to step into the path God has prepared for you, and if you are ready to fully embrace your purpose. If you want to continue receiving divine wisdom and guidance, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. This is just the beginning. There is so much more to discover about your spiritual journey, and together we will uncover the truth. Remember this. You were chosen for a reason. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are rising. And no matter what comes against you, God has already prepared the victory.